Today I want to try something new because over the last 2 days the audio has been pretty terrible in this room in general because it is extremely echoey and I don't really have anything that can help that problem. So today I'm trying to run the lavalier mic and the on-camera mic to kind of like figure out if it's going to be better. But all of this is not to distract from the idea that I want to talk about today, which came up in a conversation that I had today with a friend from a couple of years ago. Basically, we met in Tarifa for the first time, and then now we are both back here and we had the opportunity to meet for a coffee and had an amazing conversation. And inside of that conversation, let's just adjust here a little bit to sit a little more comfortably. Inside of that conversation, something came up that I wanted to bring to the vlog and to the videos here because I think it is I have a very strong opinion about it, and I think that a lot of people can actually benefit from it as well. And it is mostly the story of me and this vlog and this daily video content and why I am doing it the way that I'm doing it. Now, I talked to this friend as well as other people in the past about the idea of documenting your journey, and I have heard about it online from Gary Vaynerchuk and people alike. And I never really got into it until I started this vlog and the continuous creation, and this time around it actually felt pretty natural instead of having to force myself to do it. But the idea behind it basically is that you can either choose to build something or study something and you do something for a certain amount of time, and at the end of that you present a finished artwork, a finished piece of work, a finished software, whatever it is. But there is an alternative where you can start very small and from there you grow step by step and you publish every step on the way. It's kind of like a lean startup or working in sprints and always having something that is publicly available and people can see, test, and experience already. And the gist of this idea comes back to the aspect that you get feedback all along. Now, this does not only work in my experience now with something like a software product, it also works with content and ideas. For me, I want to create more ideas, more content. I want to talk about things. I want to stir up conversations, and I cannot do that if I don't put something out into the world. So I started by making these videos and also having the podcast and just forcing myself to create something and share ideas into the open, get feedback from that, learn throughout the process, just learn by even having to think and rethink, talk about certain subject matters like this one, and express them. If I don't do that, I never really have anything that I can work with, and I am less interested in just writing my own thoughts down and then coming back to them in a half a year or something like that. If I have something that I already put out into the world, I get a chance of people seeing it, people relating to it, people liking it, and also in general finding a community of people or finding people for discussion and exchange, which then in turn can bring me further in my understanding. So what I'm saying here is if you have something that you want to be doing in the future or you are thinking about something, put something out into the world early on. Maybe if you want to do writing, maybe a blog is the right way for you to do. If you want to do writing and graphics, for example. If you are good with voice and you want to have the ease of just expressing something in a podcast, Anchor is an amazing app that you can download on an Android or iPhone, and you basically have a free version of podcasting in your pocket. You can record your episodes in there, you can edit them, you can add music, and you can distribute them just like any other podcast in iTunes and Spotify and all those different ways. And then you have videos, which are nowadays super easy to make because most everybody has a full HD camera in their pocket. And of course, you can make everything perfect and you can have the better audio quality, you can have the better camera, you can have the bokeh in the background, the unsharpness and all of those things. But in the end, it doesn't really matter if you never really start. And I understand that I haven't really done that in the past because I have valued having the better gear, and I do have amazing gear for the amount of work that I've done for. It's probably unreasonable. But at this point, I'm understanding more and more that it is not about those things. If I were to talk into my phone right now, it would pretty much be the same thing. I would start expressing something, I would be sharing something, and I would bring something to the table. This idea, as I've mentioned before, is true for content, for idea, just development and expression at the same time, to gather feedback, to gather ideas from other people instead of just brewing in my own little brew here. But it also works for software products. For example, pushnotice.chat, which I'm running, that is a very bare bones implementation right now that is online and people can use it. And I have gathered feedback of implementations that are helpful for the future, but I haven't come to kind of like add those to that yet. And I'm also working, as I've mentioned before, on something that's called homebase.world, which is currently offline, but I'm trying to minimize it down more and more every day to kind of focus on what is actually necessary to put it online, to have people try it and experience, so I can gather the feedback and then I can grow from there. And it's kind of like the bootstrapped way, the documenting the journey as well as the publishing ongoing on a process. And another amazing thing that can come from that is, at least I have read a lot about people that have done things like that, is if you have a podcast or if you have a blog, those content pieces you have created in the past can actually benefit you in the future. Let's say you want to write a book, for example. You can use pieces of content that you have already created. You can transcribe the podcasts, you can use the blog posts and make them into chapters for your book, maybe rewrite them, but you're building something that already has an understanding and a core where you are strengthening your positioning, your own thinking, and you're opening yourself up to build a community of people that already knows what you're doing. So with that said, go out there, do something, put yourself, your thoughts, your business ideas, or anything else out into the world. Let's create together and build each other up, because that is in the end what creates change and also is a positive effect on the world in general. That's it for me. I'm going to enjoy another cup of tea and an episode of a new TV show that I'm watching. And then it is time for another video. Well, tomorrow.